So here again is the team of Rishi, Nair, and Aravind Rajendran, both from STM, and they will talk about the interplay between tech, XML, and uh, and also obtaining tech from XML. Is that correct?
No, we will be starting with XML and then producing the tech.
Exactly. Tech from XML. Yes. And so please take the stand.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Rishi.
Hi everybody, I am Aravind.
We are from STM Document Engineering Private Limited, a LaTeX based typesetting company. Today we are going to present LaTeX technologies at work, aesthetically beautiful PDFs on the fly from XML input. The product is called XML Page Composition, XPC.
So you might all be thinking why this particular forum has been chosen to present something like this. So we are a company which has been in existence for the last 25 years, and we have always thought that anything that we do in terms of LaTeX technologies should always be presented first to the entire LaTeX audience, the entire LaTeX community who have been doing all these things from the very start, and without all of your support and help, a company like us would have not been in existence. So we like to thank all TUG users group members for all of the support that you have been giving us from the start. And in this particular difficult times like COVID, we have to all persevere, do whatever the governments are asking us to do, take all sorts of precautions, stay healthy, stay at home, protect our healthcare workers and so on, so that we are able to come out of this difficult times. And they all, even the WHO now is calling this as going to be a new normal. So it's technology that has defined this particular world, and using technology we have to live in the new normal, and we have to persevere and struggle through these difficult times and come out stronger. So without any more delay, I would hand over to Rishi, who would be actually presenting to you about this particular beautiful technology that we have created, and we want to showcase this to you first. So Rishi.
Yeah. So you will be thinking the title of this presentation is a little bit longer because that title itself actually explains what the product is. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's look into the detail of what is XML page composition or XPC. So all of you might know that the pre-press work or the typesetting process has been changed over the years. If you look at the recent past, you can see the publisher hands over the manuscript to the typesetter for creating XML or MathML with different PDFs like web version PDFs, print version PDFs, etc. And the typesetter hand over all these things to the publisher afterwards. So currently the publishers are thinking in a different dimension. So for example, the manuscript will be first hand over to the typesetter who actually creates the XML first. So then that XML will be taken from that typesetter and given to another typesetter who actually creates a PDF from it, and the graphics or images are completely done in a different vendor. Finally, all these things will be collated together and a data set will be created and will be available for the readers. So XPC is actually created to generate PDFs from these XML and MathML files. So let's look at the first point. It's a typesetting system in the cloud which can automatically create standard compliant and aesthetically pleasing PDF using TechFolio directly from a valid production XML, assets and metadata. I have actually done a presentation in the last TUG meeting in San Francisco about TechFolio. TechFolio is the tech-based typesetting framework in the cloud. We are actually using this TechFolio for our typesetting work for the last 5 years. Automated quality control system has been built in XPC, which ensures the quality of the generated output. AutoQC works without a manual intervention. Lot of rules and standards have been built in this auto QC process. For example, you can assume column balancing, float placement, overfull box, underfull box, etc. These parameters will be checked automatically without a human being. Currently, numerous templates of one of the type leading publishers is configured in XPC. All files actually will pass through the XPC without manual intervention. However, heavy math, as you can assume, may need manual support, mostly with pagination. For example, big lengthy equations may need breaking and its alignment. These breaking and alignment are actually not included in the XML or mathematical tagging. Hence, we may need the manual intervention in some areas.
So if you look at some of the features of the entire XPC or XML page composition service that we have actually created, you can understand that it is a technology which runs in the cloud. So generally, if you take any kind of LaTeX based workflows and so on, the input starts with a text file. So from the text file, you run it and then you generate a PDF. But in the case of XML page composition, the change that you see here is the input starts with an XML. Now from an XML, what we do is from the XML we generate a text file, and from the text file we generate the PDF. So the conversion from XML to a text file and then making sure that the PDF that gets generated follows all of the aesthetic guidelines that you would normally see when you generate a PDF from a text is also being looked into, and we consider all those parameters and make sure that the PDF that gets generated is an aesthetically beautiful PDF. So that is one of the key things or the key strengths of XPC. Now XPC is a workflow in the cloud, then you do not have any sort of editing that you generally do onto the source. So the XML that comes from different suppliers, say for example a standards compliant XML that you create, we just push the XML into our system, and without any sort of editing of the content, you get a PDF. So the advantage is you don't generate, or the chance of some sort of human errors coming into the process is completely eliminated. Then there is high level of automation that is done in terms of the QC. So like what Rishi was explaining, the various checks that are performed, like column balancing check, float placement check, overflow box check, these sort of checks are automatically done, and then it generates a report which says these are the kind of checks done and these are the areas where it's not meeting the benchmark. So it's possible for you to create various levels of tolerances for each of the checks that you do, and the QC can be automatically done. Once the QC is done, see, the entire formatting or pagination of the PDF is done directly through automatically in the process itself. And then when you generate the PDF, in case if there are some sort of floats which are not placed properly and so on, even without even touching the content or the text file, you can actually move floats from one page to the other, and you can do all those things without even touching the XML. So we have devised all these sorts of methodologies in place. And then the other important feature that you would find is the use of artificial intelligence to actually place those floats automatically in various pages. In case if it's not able to meet certain parameters, it automatically repaginates and then generates a final PDF. So this is a key feature that we have. The other feature that we have as of now, the XPC, the product supports close to 11 languages. It can actually do automatic table with calculation. So if you might have very complex tables that you want to actually bring or embed within a PDF, so these can actually be done automatically without any sort of intervention from the operator or the user using it. Then the other thing is there are various levels of APIs which we have actually created, which give you command line operations which can actually be used for automating in your various workflows. And all of this, you get it in the form of a microservice. That is one of the key things that you would see with XPC. So again to you, Rishi.
Thank you, Aravind. So now let's look at the workflow. So here on the right hand side, we have the workflow chart, which is more easy to follow. You can see from the first block is actually the publisher side, and the two other blocks here you can see actually in the typesetter side. So currently it is us. So the second block, let's look at, start from here. So we actually do a query or port to any signaling system where an information about the article to be run through the XPC is available in this publisher site. So we get the information from them, we take it, and that service call or order, we put it in our server. From that order, we take the information about that article. Then that information will be sent to the XML repository, where the XML file and the other assets file like its images, its metadata, and any other relevant information required to create the PDF from that XML is available. We grab all those things, we put it here in our server, we create a zip archive of all these things and loads that files into TechFolio. So now onwards, TechFolio takes the role. What TechFolio does is, it actually creates, as just like Aravind earlier said, it will create a text file from this XML, and that text file will be run, compiled two or three times, then create a quality PDF output. That PDF will be sent for auto QC. So auto QC will be run in the backend. If it didn't flag any errors in the report, that PDF will automatically goes to the publisher or any other repository where it should go. In case there are any problems in the PDF report, or it actually flags any error, that file will appear in operator's dashboard in red color and show as error in PDF or error in whatever area where it is stuck. So the operator who actually watches this dashboard takes the file. When he clicks on it, it will load the file in TechFolio automatically. Then he can look at the report, he can find out easily where the problem is. He just go to the tech file created from the XML, fix the problem, then the script will be automatically run, the PDF will be created, auto QC will be run again, and when it is successful, it will go to the publisher. This is the workflow. I hope all of you understand about this. Let's have our question and answer session after this demo and in the live interaction when we are going to have later. So these are some of the screenshots I have taken from this workflow. The first one at the top you are seeing is actually the XPC dashboard, what operator is looking into. All this green is actually automatically successful. The red two, these rows, there are some problems with the file, the PDF creation. So here you can see the PDF report, log, etc. I think it's a little bit, the font is too small here. So let's have a look at it more clearly while I am going to have a live demo of this. Then these are the two the reports generated from this PDF. Production report of an example of these production reports. You can see the bottom it shows the error from where the problem is. Now the issues and challenges we face during the development of this tool and our estimated production capacity. Over to you, Aravind.
So we have actually had to struggle a lot to get these things properly done. So when you talk about an XML, it's not like a LaTeX file. So you can actually run it easily through the LaTeX engine that you have and then generate a PDF. So what happens is when you have a LaTeX file and then you generate a PDF, you get very beautiful PDFs created. But that does not happen when you actually use a simple XML. There are a lot of intricate nuances that you need to take care. So we have actually been improving the entire system by actually making sure that nuances that actually LaTeX does beautifully are also incorporated into the XMLs, and making sure that the final output that is generated from an XML matches or is a near representation of what you generate from a standard LaTeX file. So that is one of the key things that we had to solve, because we wanted to produce aesthetically beautiful PDFs. Now the other things that we found it difficult initially, and we have resolved all those things, have been shown here. So finding journal typeset model, you have to identify whether this is a new journal typeset model or which falls into a specific typeset model. Say for example, a publisher might have 4 or 5 different typeset models. Onto which one do you want the PDF to be generated, depending on which typeset model. So you need to identify those things, and then you choose those things and automatically do it. The next major area that we were able to resolve is the table cell with calculation. So like I said earlier, you will have very long tables, some tables which go into like 20 or 30 pages long, and the width and so on of the table has to be calculated dynamically, and then you have to place them. In addition to that, when you have a lot of text which has to run along with the tables and so on, you have to resolve all those things and then place the tables properly in the required page. The other key challenge is float placement. How do you make sure that the floats are placed with reference to a particular text that you see on in an article and so on? You can't actually place a float at the last page or the first page. It has to be in reference to the text that is there. So all these things are very critical aspects when you look at how you want to publish articles and so on. So these have all been taken care. Then the build-up accents that have to be taken care. The pagination using a control file. Even when there are some sort of things wherein the pagination does not happen automatically, and then it moves into the followed queue, then if in case it moves into the followed queue, you have to do a repagination. So when you do a repagination, you have to make sure that you do not touch the XML at all, but yet you want to actually do the repagination. So how do you do that? So those are the key challenges that we had to overcome. Then automated QC. The automated QC is a beautiful thing that you would see in XPC. You can automatically do certain things, and in case if it finds certain faults, it again comes back into manual followed queue, or it can automatically think based on the logic that is set there and try and resolve those problems. So automatic QC becomes a very important aspect that needs to be handled for various publishers. So for example, before you send the PDF out to the printers, you have to make sure that you have the compliance matched, like X1A compliance and so on. So all these things can be done in the automatic QC phase, and in case if it does not fail or meet the requirements of the publisher, then it moves into the automatic followed queue. You solve those things, and then again you move ahead with it. Now these are the key things that we addressed. And the last point is...
Yeah, actually one more thing, Aravind, there is the automatic column balancing. That's a big challenge we faced during this development. That has been resolved. The last page, if a 2-column article, the column balancing of the last page is a challenge. Normally the operator will manually assuming where break can be done, etc. But currently, using the artificial intelligence and some other tools, we are finding where we can break how we can align the last page, finds it automatically and break it, and that last column will be beautifully, perfectly aligned in most of the cases.
Yes, when Rishi was talking about this, the other point that came into my mind is, say for example, you have a long equation, and the author gave you a manuscript which is supposed to be printed in double column, but the author had given you the manuscript in single column. So when you get something in a single column, when you have an XML and so on, XML does not know how long the equation is, where it has to be placed and so on, does not have that information in it. Now, how do you actually make sure that equations are broken properly? So how you break equations when it comes into single column, how you break equations in double column are completely different when you look at how it has to be handled. So those are things that we have been working on very keenly, and we have been able to achieve quite a very good level of automated equation breaking within the system itself. So this is one of the other key areas where we have actually been able to make good progress. So now I think we'll move on to the capacity that we have in terms of how we handle all these things, and what are the timelines in which we can do certain things and then push you. Like we have actually told you, in case if the XML comes to you properly, immediately you get a response back. There is no delay at all. Maybe in like 5 minutes or something, you will get a response back of the PDF. I think Rishi would show this in a demo now. Now, in case if those things do not happen, that is why we have these various timelines over here. The timelines talks about 30%. So this is what we are able to achieve as of now. So 30% of the articles, say if there are thousands of articles that you push to us, it will be responded back within 6 hours. So we have a capacity during the pilot phase of around 250 articles per day. Now we have actually moved forward. We have quite a big capacity augmentation being done. We can handle around 600 articles per day. So we wanted to show through this particular forum that how LaTeX is able to achieve great levels of automation, and how LaTeX has become a powerful tool in the cloud, and how it can process these sort of large number of articles in a sort of short span of time, and that too without any sort of errors. So that is what we want to showcase over this entire demo and so on. So Rishi, again to you.
Actually, from my experience, I can see I have a 25 years experience in the typesetting field, and I can see actually others who have used LaTeX to prepare compose their manuscript always want to create their final PDF or print PDF in LaTeX. So all the typesetters of these publishers are not using LaTeX to create the PDF. They are using different typesetting systems. So if an author who prepares his manuscript in LaTeX always want the output to be printed in typeset in PDF. So a typesetter, a different typesetter A, for example, typesetter A, he does not have the LaTeX technology. He uses some other technology to create the PDF. What currently they can do is they can intake this LaTeX file from author. They can create the XML. They can just simply put it in the cloud. A typesetter who actually has the capacity, or if a system like this, XBC system like this, they can download this XML, create the PDF using LaTeX, and sends it to author. So author will be happy with it.
So if you think about this, why is this system important? So if you go back to the various products that are available in the industry, as of now you have various products very few products which can work from an XML. Now this is one product which can actually do that, and this augments the capacity of the LaTeX system to actually work with XMLs, and that is not something that you would see everywhere. You starting from XML is a difficult area, and that is what we have achieved, and that has been achieved through the LaTeX community and all of you at large.
And finally, it's time to say thank you all.
Yeah,
but before we leave, we will give a live demo of what we have already talked about. 1 second, please give us.
So welcome back everybody. So if you think about this, the things that are going to be happening at the supplier end or the client side is what we are actually going to simulate over here, of how an order is being taken from their end, and then how the order comes to us, and then how we start processing it, and then how it moves through the TechFolio microservice, and then you generate a PDF. So Rishi will just show you the entire workflow in one go, and using this sort of a demo. So Rishi, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the XML dashboard. The operator actually looking into it. So currently there are no items here. Assume the system actually runs the cloud actually runs in the background the service, XBC service. In order to simulate the same scenario, I am actually running a script in my system, local system. You can watch this, what is happening here.
So it triggers an API call, and you go to the originating system, and gets all of the assets that are necessary for actually doing the processing. So it gets the XML, the other assets, and so on. Now it has actually moved into the phase where it's collected all of that information. It's uploading it into the TechFolio microservice. You can see that it's been uploaded. The archive has now been uploaded successfully. And now you will see that the processing has started. So XML to the text conversion, and then from the text it's immediately generating the PDF. You can see that. Now once it generates the PDF, it will go on to the next auto QC phase. In the auto QC phase, if everything is successful, immediately a response will be sent back. So you can see that even though this is a demo, this is actually simulating the same environment, or how it's supposed to have it happen in live. So this is the amount of duration in which you would get a response back. Now you can see the PDF, the creation. It's actually not alone the PDF creation. You're actually doing all of those the checks in between inside the system itself. And now you will see the PDF has got successfully created. Now you will see the next things that are being checked. Now it's actually doing the auto QC. You can see the autumn column balancing. So in case if it finds some sort of a problems in between, it's trying to fix those things automatically. It tries all those things, and then finally you have the PDF generated, and if everything is okay, then the response goes back. Now you can see the autumn column balancing. It's gonna take maybe a minute or two for the entire process to complete, right, Rishi?
Yeah. So currently I have taken 2 articles. The first one you can see here, it's almost done, 85% is over. So normally operators do not want to look at this dashboard continuously. They just need to see where in the dashboard they will see the problem files only. If a file is successfully run, that will not appear in the dashboard, but currently I have removed that option, and you can see here. Just to have a demo of this, I have loaded here.
So all of the orders that are being processed would appear in the dashboard, and everything that is green need not necessarily be looked at. Only the ones that are in red needs to be looked at, or those are the ones which have fallen into the manual fallout queue, and the ones that may require some sort of intervention from the person who's operator who is working on it. Now in this case everything is successful. The final PDF has been created and the response has been set.
And the second article actually has been taken. It has started the processing. The second article is started. Now let's look at this PDF output, report and log. See, let's look at the PDF first. So this is the generated PDF output.
So this is a sample that we have generated. We have generated a sample text file, and from the text file this has been generated. So you can understand this is from an XML. From an XML you have generated the LaTeX, and from the LaTeX you have generated the PDF. So look at the kind of complexity that you would generally find in a lot of manuscripts that have been written by various authors and so on. So we want to simulate all those things, and you can see that the column balancing.
Column balancing automatically done.
So this is the kind of the aesthetic beauty that we want.
Look at the report as well. Yeah. So this is the report it generates. So you can see the the floats, figures, figure number, the call page, in which page it is first cited. You can see that it's cited in page 390, and the object is actually inserted in 391. The tolerance is 1 page. So this is okay. It's not a problem. 390, you can see 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 pages. In some of the cases it's 5 pages is okay, because the floats are continuously appearing, so 5 pages is okay in this case. Report the first call table. Table also same thing, 390, the first citation is in page 390, the object has been inserted in 392. So without looking at the PDF, actually, with the report itself, the operator can identify whether this is okay. Report of total number of objects in the XML, just a cross matching of these things will be done. How many authors were there and how many in the PDF as well, how many affiliations are there in the XML, how many in the PDF output, and these type of checking will also be done. And you can see there are no problems in this output. That's why it says successfully created. So now look at the second case. You can see error overflow found. The actual error is shown here. So now the operator wants to do, what the operator wants to do is actually take the PDF, take the report overflow details. This is the error report. Equation ID UFD14 and its length, stretch, the number of the line number in the text file, and in which page in the PDF output it appears. Page 395, you can go to this page and see.
I think that's the other one, right? Yeah, same. So if you look at it, you could understand that only the things that are supposed to be coming as red needs to be actioned. There's nothing else to be done there.
Here you can see.
Yeah.
This equation is overfull. So the operator actually needs, what the operator needs to do is click on this article information. A text folio will be launched.
So this same system is what is also generating the PDFs in the background. So this is the interface, whereas the other one is the microservice. Now once they click on the interface, it immediately loads the TechFolio system. You have on the left the file manager, on the central part you have the editor, and on the right you have PDF viewer. So now once it has been generated
UFT
from
14.
the details that was generated in the report, the operator can immediately or easily identify the place where the correction has to be done, look at what is the problem, and then do the necessary breaks and so on to actually correct that equation. Now Rishi as an operator is trying to do that. Now those things have since we have these fine commands that we have written to actually do these sort of operations in terms of break and so on. Now again the processing is being done. So you are generating the PDF. The PDF has been generated. You can see the particular place where the equation came about. I think it's 395 something, right? The page. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
You can see the equation has been broken now. Now once that
Column balancing is not done.
it's not done, yeah.
So only that particular thing has been done. So I'm running this target again.
Yes.
So which actually does the paginates the file, does the column balancing or does the auto QC.
So instead of the operator again starting from scratch, they have actually corrected the problem that's there, again pushed it back into the workflow, and it's continuing from there. So it's like you have a production floor and you're doing some sort of work there, and then suddenly it gets stuck, you correct it there, and then again it moves forward from that particular point. Now again it's actually doing whatever things that it was doing initially, again going back, doing all of the checks, completing all of the checks, trying to find out if there are any problems. Once those things are done, then it will again generate the PDF and send the response back. So that's how it works. So Rishi, you want to explain the rest of the details, or?
Yeah, this is the this is the float. Sorry, font size. This is the control file with which we are actually, if an operator wants to place a float in somewhere, they can use this control file. Currently you can see the table 5 is on page 395. If he wants to place it on 390, he can just give the page number and save it and compile it. That's the only thing they want to keep.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So look, you can understand that the operator has not at all touched the data as such or the XML as such. So there's no sort of intervention that goes into touching the data. So only through the float file they are actually making these changes. Now once those are done, on the fly you will get the final finished PDF.
You can see table 5 has been moved to here.
Yes, yes.
When I just changed the control file, table 5 has been moved here. So again I have to run the auto pagination just to column, because I have done this, I have initiated the pagination command before I changed the
Yes.
table place. That's why this table, the last page alignment has gone wrong. If I run it again, that alignment will be okay for now. So I think it's almost 45 minutes now, right?
Yeah,
I think it's time for us
I think
to
we have
close the data.
overshot that, I suppose.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching this, and we will be available for a Q&A session
Yes.
in the live, as in the live streaming, and
So
I think we have to say thank you for the whole team.
Yeah, we have to say a big thank you for the whole team from the company that we represent, because without their support, none of these things would have come into place. So we have team members of, say, we have Rahul, we have Apu, we have Akshay, we have Sangeeta. They have all been there with the XPC team for a very long time, and they've been doing a tremendous job. Without them, you would not see something like this before you. And also a big round of thanks to the audience, all of you, because you have been patiently listening to us from your homes and so on over internet links. And we wanted to meet all of you in person and then present all these things and share ideas and so on, but that has not happened. Maybe in the next year or so when we again meet, and we would definitely be showcasing something different in the next year. That's going to be something revolutionary that we're going to come up with. So again, like what we said, we always want to showcase something like this to the tech community first, and then we are starting with that, and we will be continuing that sort of same tradition as always. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day and stay safe. Bye.
And we don't have any questions on the chat or the question answer right now, but if anything comes up, would like to.
There are a few questions which have come up.
Oh.
If you want, I can read them. What happens if XML is changed and should be re-uploaded?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So in case if the XML changes from the supplier end, they can again push the XML back to us, and again the process is repeated, and again a PDF is generated. So you can do that n number of times. It does not matter if it changes at the start or end. At any point in time, you can again regenerate the PDF. It's not a problem.
And somebody asking about prices.
Pardon?
Somebody asking about prices.
Okay. What's the average cost of a 10-page article to be typeset?
I heard that.
So we haven't gone directly into the costing and so on. The costing is quite low. So in roughly, if you want to look at it, then you can say that for a 10-page article, it'd be around £1.50 or close to £2 and so £2 and so on.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and let's hope to do this in a more near way in the future, closer together.
Yeah. Thanks for.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody.